Hello, my name is Weston, and this is The Lighter the Darker. Today, we got some board game news. Hello, and welcome to the new series of Board Game News. I want to let you know right off the bat that this series is hugely inspired by two YouTube channels that I love dearly. If you're watching this, you've probably already heard of them, but it is King of Average and Board Game Co. I have been watching these guys ever since I have been introduced to this hobby. They make such top quality content that they inspired me to do this on my own and to become, I guess, a content creator. So please go check them out if you haven't. The plan is I want to talk about the late pledges I'm excited for, I want to talk about the current Kickstarters I'm excited for, and even the upcoming Kickstarters that have piqued my interest. And these days, as I have a little bit more of a pulse or a hand on the pulse of the board game and Kickstarter industry, I thought I might as well just try it myself. So please enjoy Board Game News. And before we get into that, I always like to, just interrupt all your excitement. I want to thank two new subscribers, Ludwig and Catbox. Thank you guys so much for coming and checking us out. It is absolutely you who makes this channel. I really didn't know what was going to come with this. Same with Natalie. But we have just been so humbled, as well as inexplicably excited that people want to watch our content at all. So please, if you have any thoughts, just continue to engage and write them down, and we will continue to engage with you. Thanks again. Alrighty, hello from down here. The first Kickstarter we're going to look at is the Arena of Baradum by Horned Toad Games. Now, these guys I think are brand new. This is as they say, an easy-to-play tactical arena brawler, captivating characters, asymmetric fighting, all the stuff that I love in a board game. Now, they show these miniatures in the preview, but unfortunately in their original Kickstarter, they did not get up to the amount to have the miniatures, so this is a standees game. But I am honestly thinking that I might still get this, because even though I absolutely love miniatures, this is totally my kind of game, and I love the old school, almost video game Doom era artwork they have going on, as well as the characters. So the guy who really sticks out to me is obviously the Lion Blade Master. This guy's absolutely cool. They all do feel very distinguishable, which is a very good thing. You don't want to have a bunch of characters look and feel the same, and they obviously have different stats. But I want to shout them out as a late pledge, because I've actually been looking at this Kickstarter for a very long time, before they even were live, because I was like, this is totally my kind of game. And if you like the games we cover, it's probably your kind of game too. Next we have Explore It. Explore It is not an unknown indie game like the last. This game series, the Explore It series, has been around for a while, and it is tower defense, hero building tower defense, which really catches my eye. But again, a lot of this is just like Kickstarter lingo. So when you think of tower defense, and if you're totally new to this genre, think of like literally like balloons or something like that. Like Kingdom Rush did a pretty good job at like just classic tower defense in board games, but Explore It is another one that is very famous, and they're coming out with this new iteration of Mountains of Godai. And it seems like a lot of it is about, like the transformation, the eventual transformation of your character as you're defending. But has anybody here played Explore or been a big fan? Because I do like the defense series, the defense games. Like, we have Tiny Epic Defenders. I absolutely love it. I love anything to do with that genre. Next is another big game that has actually been covered quite thoroughly, but I just wanted to point it out because if you're a fan of miniatures like I am, if you're a fan of asymmetry like I am, this game has to have been on your radar. I mean, absolutely giant miniatures. You get a bunch of them. Looks like you get 10 soldiers, 5 speakers, 6 miners, and then each faction gets, so that's for each player. Each player gets 2 of these big guys, as well as these like harvesters, a colony ship, and there's a lot of videos of people playing this game, showing off all the components, because it is kind of, as I understand it, it's kind of been in these like phases of prototype for many years, and now this is like the one big Kickstarter that's making it available to the public. So this is just a very beautiful game about claiming your territory, you know, very much area control. I do love games like this, honestly. It might just seem like we just like skirmish, but Blood Rage and Eric Lang and Ankh and Rising Sun, those are like the games that got me into this genre. So I'm very interested in that. This is another hugely covered game because it's Awakened Realms. We love Awakened Realms. We have Lords of Ragnarok and Etherfields. I like Etherfields more than Lords of Ragnarok, but it's just a little bit more complicated is the thing. But what I want to say about this is there's this new kind of phase we're seeing right now in just like this current week of Kickstarter, this current month Kickstarter, is there's a lot of like really dark themed stuff. Grimcroven, and there's going to be a few other ones we'll cover up here. Oh, just clicked on it. But the reality is me and Natalie, we don't really lean towards this kind of theme. Like, it's Awakened Realms. I'm probably still gonna get this game. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a boss battler, and it's supposed to be a pretty easy access point for a boss battler, which really appeals to me. But we have Grimcroven, and then we have this like Dark Blood. I'm not even gonna cover that because it just doesn't seem very fascinating to me, but if that's your thing. And then because of there's been like Dark Blood, Blood Omen, Blood Sacred, all this stuff, I totally had missed the Ludus Magnus Studios, which honestly is one of my favorite studios. They're probably in like my top 5. They have had, you know, some stuff like The Breach, I guess. Board Game Co. said he didn't like it as much, but I have signed Tempor. Black Rose Wars and Black Rose Wars Rebirth is an absolute staple in a lot of people's households because I've heard just such amazing things. I've never played it myself. It is on my list to get, but it is totally the kind of game that I want. But they're also making a Vampire Blood game, and it is a boss battler for 1 to 4 players. We can see again, as they're doing in their newer Kickstarters, is they're adding this like colored plastic to the normal plastic, which we'll see in a minute. But first, they're showing a couple of the playable characters. We have Radu, Enga, Nicolay, Michaela. So very like circus, clown, creepy. I don't know how else to describe it. You know, very like mixing, you know, the clown and the horror kind of stuff. And then we have the vampire. So this is the colored plastic I was talking about, where they have the traditional, you know, whatever material they want to use. And then I honestly really like this like translucent other plastic, as they did in The Breach, and I think maybe in another Kickstarter. But they have that for at least each of the big bosses, which are the vampires. This guy's badass. Like, that's a very well-made character. I really like him. And the art style I do like. that doesn't mean I like the theme as much. Like, I probably lean more towards vampire killing and vampire, like, Castlevania theme, because it's more like dark academia, stuff like that, than just like straight up horror, which is like what Dark Blood is. So I will definitely get this game, but there's a lot of dark stuff coming out. I had commented on The Hungry Gamer. He actually just came out with a mini preview of a game we're going to talk about, Odalin. We'll just go to it right now. This is another dark game from Dragori Games, which I have loved Tenaris Adventures and Arena the Contest, but he covered it, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if we're going to get this, because it's very, like, on this theme of, like, demons and all this stuff, which is not bad. It's just, like, not my preferred theme, and he worded it really well. He's like, I don't prefer darker fare myself, and I'm like, that's exactly it. It's not like I have any honest, like, holdups against this stuff, or, like, I'm scared of it. It's just, like, I would much rather see, you know, like, Greek mythos or samurai, or just, like, I mean, they did the traditional fantasy with Arena of the Contest, Tenaris Adventures. Honestly, top 5 games for me. I love Arena of the Contest. These miniatures are just absolutely beautiful, which I'm not surprised. I mean, it's Dragori Games. These people don't mess around, and I love them deeply. But I think I'll just have to get my hands on the game, because I can get past the theme if the game is just so good. But I'm worried about this next game, that the theme is really cool, but the gameplay, I've heard very mixed things. I have never played this game myself, and I was actually deeply interested in playing this game because it's asymmetrical, Japanese influenced, mech influenced. I mean, I'll show you some of the freaking factions in this game. So amazing, so cool looking. But one of the game stores in my state that I go to regularly, it's my favorite game store. It's like an hour away though. They've been trying to sell their Kickstarter of this for a couple of years now. And maybe it's just the fact that it's indie enough that everybody who won this game got it in the Kickstarter, and nobody's been really aware of it. But, like, just seeing it sit around there every time, it's not like they're selling it for some exuberant price, makes me, like, wonder. And I talked to their curator about it, and he's like, yeah, I played it, and it kind of makes sense, but this is a revamp a little bit of the system, as well as expansions. If you have played Suzuki Yumi, please tell me. I totally forgot to name the game, but this is Suzuki Yumi, and they're coming out with a version 2.5, as well as a few other expansions. But why I was, like, super interested in this game is, like, I love distinct factions, distinct characters. Like, look at some of these. This is on their website. This is their factions. I mean, like, the Dark Crusade versus the Reef Collective, the Sentinels. Those are pandas. Like, we have, where are they? Let me show you the frickin' pandas. Like, that's too cool. Oh, I knew it was, like, down here. Yeah, look at these guys. It's a goddamn panda riding a tiger with a hand. That's so cool. And just, like, down here, you could literally play, I thought you could play as literally just, like, a whale faction. Sorry, I'm missing all of it. Here we go. Here's the frickin' whale faction. This is very cool stuff. I don't know if this is just like, you're just like, what are you talking about? I find it cool. I love anthropomorphic stuff, distinct factions, all that stuff. But anyway, I haven't played it. I might not get this, but should I? Genuinely. Next, we are going to talk about Hakiri, Blades of Honor, the reprint, as well as Souls of Yomi. I wanted to cover this because it's, again, a very dark game, but it is the Japanese influence theme as you fight against Oni, and the miniatures of this are just absolutely beautiful, and miniatures aren't everything. But if you want to see somebody like uncover the prototype of this game, King of Average has received it and he covers it super well. But they're redoing it, and now that, like, the first time around it was super indie. Like, I don't even think it was on Kickstarter. Maybe it was on another website. But now that there's more coverage, I'm very curious about this game, and I might just get it. But now we're going into games that are previews and that are not current Kickstarters, but are coming out here soon. Heroes of Might and Magic 3. Man, do I want this game so badly. I have heard nothing but good things about this. It's Arkan Studios. It's a very, very good company. But the problem here is I'm not seeing my country's flag. Are they not doing this in the US? Okay, well, whether or not they're doing in the US, it doesn't matter. You want this game. I love deck building. I love old video games. This game is just like everything you want put together. If you didn't have a chance to see any of the reviews of the first Kickstarter that come out, just go through it and you'll see it. And maybe it's totally not for you, but this has been like #1 on my want list for a little while. I see what it's saying is okay. Thank God I can get this. I was like, it's not, why wouldn't it come to the US? It's just saying it's introducing to 6 more languages, which is awesome. But why I'm not really talking much about this game is there's so much already about it, but I am very excited about possibly being able to just like get everything in this Kickstarter, as I didn't have the funds for the last time, so I can get all the expansions from the last one and all the expansions from the new one. And I'm gonna plan on covering this, not as extensively as Mythic Battles Eastfet, but definitely covering it. So be looking out for that. I love nautical themes, so this Cove expansion looks pretty fun as well. Next is another fast-paced tactical skirmish battle arena board game, but this is specifically for 2 players, and it's another preview. I haven't seen anybody talk about this at all. It only has a couple hundred people following it, and I want to bring attention to it. This is from Heartbound Studios. Have they done anything before? Yeah, that's what I thought. This is their totally first game. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I really like the idea of using elements to create buffs, debuffs, just like the Pokemon system. And if they are planning on doing something like that in this asymmetrical fighter, which is exactly my favorite genre, then I am very interested. What I really love is they have terrain. I love terrain. The components so far are looking really cool, and they actually are showing the 6 heroes to choose from, but you actually are going to be playing with 3, not just a single hero. So probably very similar to Super Fantasy Brawl, but I'm hoping not the same. I do love Super Fantasy Brawl, but I really do want games to make their own in this genre. There's a lot of just similar games. Like I was thinking of getting, what is it, Load by Arkan Studios, but then everyone's saying it's just Rum and Bones too, and I'm like, come on, like, we're better than this. It's a great genre. We can make this special and specific, but we can see it's kind of, if you've ever played Fable, this guy looks like he's from Fable. Kind of this, early 2000s, like, PlayStation or Xbox kind of render with the big head. I really like how these miniatures are looking. They're simple, and they don't have to be complicated. Honestly, like, keeping it simple is going to ensure that they're going to probably deliver. The Other. Very, very cool. We have a 2 games left. Valheim, which Valheim, if you are big on video games, absolutely blew up as a survival action game that a lot of people who played like Rust, Ark, stuff like that played. I watch a lot of Wellen. He played Valheim. They're turning it into a board game, which I guess this makes sense because the main point of the regular game is like you do fight these bosses to expand where you can go in the game. There's like the fog that covers it, but I think when you defeat the boss, the fog lifts up and then you can build in those areas. So I think this could work well if you like boss battlers and you like the idea of building and let's see, forging weapons, collecting resources, exploring, stuff like that. The last thing we're going to talk about is Horrified finally has Cthulhu with the World of Monsters. I was so curious about what the World of Monsters was because I saw a lot of websites list this probably before this was announced. I'm not going to say exactly who, but like as you could buy it, but you couldn't actually add it to your cart or anything like that. And I was like, what is the World of Monsters? Now we finally know. It is Cthulhu, and it's coming this August, which is the month of my birthday. You needed to know that. Anyway, this has been Board Game News. Let me know what you think. Which board game would you be excited to pledge? Are you gonna get any of them? Did you know about any of them? Are you now aware of a new Kickstarter because of this? I'm wanting to make this a regular series, so please give me suggestions on what you would like to see. My name is Weston, and this has been The Lighter the Darker. I hope you have a wonderful day.